and we are continuing to catch more Pokemon on Let's Play Pokemon Yellow. So, in the last part, we caught quite a bit. We also battled the trainers in this route. However, there are still a couple more trainers, I believe, and if not, then there are still Pokemon to catch. At least one, yes. We're going to go catch that Pokemon now. It is Drowsy. Now, before, I used to not really care much about Drowsy. But ever since Pokemon Crystal and I actually used him in his evolved form, he actually turned out pretty well. And Quick Attack is disabled. Hooray, strike us. So yeah, I really do suggest Drowsy as a Psychic type, especially if you don't have somebody you can trade with to get Alakazam. Otherwise, then, just not. I'm not going to use Drowsy because I used him in Crystal. But yeah, I also have a completely different type set than what I did in Crystal. For the most part. Anyways, we can finish that up. That was a pretty easy catch. And finally, Magikarp grew to level 20. As you can see, speed and defense are really his two highest stats. Which is funny though, because in the anime, in the Saint Anne sinking, he couldn't swim whatsoever, so he had practically no speed. But he evolves into Gyarados, and Gyarados' sprite is pretty cool. Although he does look like a circle. And he learns Bite, which is actually useful. Although a normal type move in this generation because Dark type wasn't invented yet. Anyway, starting back up at the Pokemon Center again, this time we can head on down to the ship. Because there are a ton of trainers to fight there that we have to get the experience from. And we're going to use that experience to evolve some of our Pokemon. So let's go on aboard. Now, luckily, this ship isn't going to sink. And I don't have to trade away my Butterfree for Raticate, because I already have both. So yeah, pretty much every single room in this ship has a trainer. I could have swore that one of the rooms was also like your bed and you could rest your Pokemon there, but I could never find it. So quite often I'll actually run back into Vermilion and go to the Pokemon Center there to heal up. Otherwise, luckily, Diglett's unaffected, and Ground is super effective against fire as well as rock and electric type Pokemon, and steel later on, but there is no steel type yet, and no, it's not super effective against ice, I don't think. I always get it mixed up, like, what is super effective against ice, like, is it rock or is it ground, I forget which, often, but yeah, I know steel is, which is strange, although I guess if you take, like, a steel, pickaxe type of thing, you could, like, stab it in there, and that would hurt the ice or something, I don't know. But yeah, we're just going to constantly switch out and switch in Zubat and Diglett. Ground is also good against poison. So that's 4 types that ground is super effective against. Pretty good coverage for a single type. Couple that with Diglett's insane speed and pretty high attack power. Low special and low HP, but Diglett doesn't really need special unless it's getting hit by grass or water. And HP, your Diglett is so fast and has such a high attack power that your Diglett should be able to take out the opponent in a single hit and be quick enough to beat him in that single hit. So yeah, we have a couple more trainers in this room as well as an item. There are a couple items in here in these rooms as well, so you want to make sure to pick those up. Either way, that's pretty much it. Oh wow, that's the one bad thing about Diglett, especially when you're doing the whole switch-in method, is that that opponent has the free turn to attack you, and sometimes it could be really damaging. But we got TM08, which is is Body Slam. That would have been helpful. No, well, I end up selling it anyways, and we're going to heal up Diglett some more. So yeah, it's pretty much the Saint Anne in a nutshell. How Pokemon can battle in a 4x4 room, I have no idea, but oh well. So, what have I been up to today? I have, for the most part, finally figured out my capture card. If you remember, I made the test video a while ago, a couple days ago. Well, since then, I've made improvements, and I have pretty much everything ready except the title screen of Final Fantasy 13 is still a little screwy. I'm guessing that's because there's just too much white on the screen, like too much of that single bright color for the capture card to handle. And even so, it's just the title screen and you know what the game is. You can still read the title, you just can't read new game, load game, whatever. Another interesting thing is that guy in that room said something like, "I'm looking for Team Rocket." And although he never finds Team Rocket, once the ship leaves, Team Rocket actually pops up in the anime, so that was a pretty interesting reference to that. And in that trash can you can find a great ball for whatever reason. And that's pretty much it in the kitchen. Now let's head on up here. Yep. Okay. At every port, this is like the only port there is. Oh well. You don't battle me, what do you do? Oh, he tells us about the sleeping Pokemon and gives us the Pokedex entry. Not the data or anything, just the picture and stuff. Even though we have to fight one anyway, so I don't see what the point of that is. Either way, we have a fish trainer guy here. So, Pikachu. So yeah, I've been slowly figuring out the capture card. And oh my god, I have such a ridiculous story. Although I will probably just tell that during the next test video, provided I have one. Tentacle is part poison type, so that's another Pokemon that Diglett is super effective against. And it looks like Diglett's sprite, it looks like it's floating, like levitating in midair, just the dirt pile, showing that there is actually nothing under the dirt of Diglett. It's just that little half circle thing that we call Diglett. I want that item, sir. Let me take that item. I know it might be your item that you left in this room, but I'm still going to steal it because I stole the Dig TM, so I can just steal stuff. Stealing's fun. Yeah, see, it's like levitating. And it's strange and confuses me, and it's in the ground too, so what? Okay, Diglett grew to level. Diglett evolves around late 20s, like Mankey. However, it's going. Oh, shoot. Well, he's down. So let's go to Mankey, who's almost going to evolve. He only needs 3 or so more levels. And he could take 3 Sonic Booms, but luckily we'll only have to take 1. And there we go. And Mankey grew another level, so now he only needs 2 levels to evolve. So that's nice. Zubat evolves around level 21, I think. So that's going to be a little while. However, we did start at like level 11, and he's what, level 15 or so now? Okay, that's cool. They're telling me about certain HMs in the game. We'll get into those later. Yes. Could this be a double battle? A strong or a rare Pokemon? Well, usually most rare Pokemon are rather strong. Growlithe, however, isn't that rare. It is kind of strong, but not really my suit. Especially when you just keep on trying to roar. But I digress. Oh yeah, and by the way, in that mid-cut, I went back to the Pokemon Center to randomly heal Diglett, and that's why everybody's back to full health. And Zubat is in fact level 15, so only 6 more levels. Ow, Ember, I'm burning! Ponyta's a pretty cool Pokemon, although what I find rather annoying is that in Diamond and Pearl and maybe Platinum, I don't know, they changed stuff in Platinum and I really didn't pay that much attention. But in the 4th generation, there's absolutely no Fire-type Pokemon except for the starter and Heatran, which you can't even get in the main game. So unless you want to catch a Ponyta, you have no access to a Fire-type. So you have to kind of work around that. And a Fire-type would be rather helpful. Out of all the firefighting type starters, Infernape is probably my favorite just because I like monkeys. However, Blaziken is probably the most useful in competitive battling when it comes to speed boost and stuff like that, and Baton Pass. Well, I'm pretty sure that's Uber, but whatever. I'll still use it anyways. I really don't battle competitively. I battle competitively for fun. I don't get all serious about it like most other people, although I do check my rank every once in a while just because I'm curious. The captain is very sick. Now, if I'm correct, this is the right way to go, and I don't want to go that way yet. I want to go the wrong way first. So I accidentally just went the right way. Shoot. Yes. So we can head on back through here. And here's an area that I never knew about before until I watched other people's Let's Plays of this game, or rather Fire Red and Leaf Green. You can go onto the deck of the ship. I never knew that. Oh my god, it was so cool, and I was so confused when I first saw it. Anyways, there are 2 more trainers here, and Zubat it's going to learn Wing Attack soonish, in which it would become a better flying type Pokemon than the freaking bird. But I'm never going to let Pidgeotto live that down. Either way, going back to Zubat yet again, it's level 16 now. Wow, it's gaining a ton of levels. See, I told you guys. And Wrap. Are you going to talk through my Diglett telepathically? No? Okay. That's fine. I'm referencing the anime so much because I finally got around to watching that. I'm on, like, episode 22 now. Whenever they first battle Sabrina. And speaking of battling Sabrina, has Ash ever won a badge on his first try? Like, I know he won the Cerulean one on his first try, although that one was practically given to him out of pity. But other than that, so far, Ash has not won a badge on his first try. I think he did for the 8th one, going off of memories, but it's been forever. I'm pretty sure he did on the 8th badge, but that's because Team Rocket was running the gym. Because the original gym leader was out. But, yeah, not really much stuff. Not really a whole lot of success for Mr. Ash. And even in the new, like, I remember in Diamond and Pearl, I watched the beginning of it, and he didn't win the first time against Rourke, and then his Cranidos evolved into... The 4th generation, honestly, is my weakest generation. I don't know as much about those games, because that was when I was kind of growing out of Pokemon again, and I just really didn't like Diamond and Pearl all that much. Like, in my opinion, it was the worst of the series. But anyways, Fog was so annoying. I could never find a defog TM. I had to walk through that fog and battle through that fog. Either way, we're going back here to the beginning, and now we're going to go this way to see what other trainers and items are to be had. So basically, this is another filler episode. It's like the anime. My buddy Machoke is super strong, and what's with all these people talking about HMs all of a sudden? I mean, somebody mentioned Surf, somebody mentioned Cut, and now somebody's mentioning Strength. And I guess it's either coincidence or not, but this is where we get our first HM. Either way, ow. Horsey is a Pokemon that I thought about using for at least a very short time until I decided that there were better water Pokemon out there. And I know I'm going to upset somebody, but without Kingdra and better water moves, Horsey really isn't all that fantastic. Shelter is one of the very few Pokemon that I didn't think about using. Like, I knew that I wouldn't want to use the Shelter just because I'm not all too into the defensive Pokemon that really can do any attacking as well. Except for my Ferrothorn, which I used to lay down Stealth Rock and Spikes. But even so, I still have... I still have Gyro Ball and Explosion for when it gets really weak, so it could still damage the opponent. Probably could put Leech Seed on there, but I really don't have room for it. I don't want to have a completely auxiliary Ferrothorn, because what happens when he's the last Pokemon I have? Speaking of which, I almost won a battle with just Ferrothorn. I knocked out like two or three of the guy's Pokemon, and then I only had Ferrothorn left, and I just kept on using Gyro Ball and took out like two of his Pokemon, and then I exploded on the last one because I ran out of PP for a Gyro Ball. That was fun. At least I found it amusing. This is going to be a bit of a long episode. It's probably going to go like a minute over, but we just want to get as much of this boat done as possible. Although I have to admit, that whole saga with the St. Anne and then waking up on the giant Pokemon Island, you know, back in the day, the giant Pokemon Island was probably my favorite episode of the series, just because of the giant Pokemon. I mean, they were huge, and I was also into robots at the same time, so to see that there were robotic type Pokemon was pretty awesome. Yeah, memories and Pokemon battles. See, what's happening here is that I have absolutely nothing to talk about over all these battles, and I knew it would happen, but I want to show all these battles even at double speed. And Mankey just died, fainted, whatever. So I have to go for other things. Either way, how can a Diglett scratch? It doesn't have claws or anything. Does it use its nose? Maybe find out next time. I don't know. See ya then.